It's working. Hey, look at that. Interesting that I don't seem to have a... There we go. Hey, everyone. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing this on Saturdays now. It's something I was doing for 3 weeks over on Facebook, just for my Facebook friends. I have a bum knee, and I have to ice it down every morning, and because when I wake up, it's swollen up. Not quite like a balloon, but it's like swollen up so badly that legitimately if I bend my knee all the way, I can feel the bones separate. So it's a big mess around here. I can feel the bones separate, so let that stick in you. Hello, everyone. No idea how many people are actually here. It's all right. We'll find out. We'll just all hang out together. Maybe. Been live for a minute. Apparently nobody here yet. If you are here, then go ahead and feel free to sound off. I've got a loose agenda today. This whole thing isn't for clicks. It's not for money. I'm not monetizing this. I'm just hanging out. I've got nothing to do for the next hour while my knee's on ice and while my hair dries. And then I've got stuff to do. Oh. Yeah, we're public. I have no idea how to even tell how many viewers I've got right now. So if anybody knows, then, let me know. Should I start recording this? Anyway. Yeah. Lots to talk about, but apparently nobody to talk about it with. So, see if we can get... Oh, we got 2 people in here. That's cool. Sound off in the chats. Let me know that you're here. There's a bit of a delay on the chats, so I don't know how quickly that I'll get to see it or get to answer any questions that you guys might have. Mike Games, hello, sir. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, we're probably not friends on Facebook, Mike, but this is something I've been doing on Facebook for a little while now, and I'm just basically hanging out. I have a head full of wet hair and an ice pack on my knee and a cup of coffee in my hands, and I'm just kind of getting my day going here in St. Louis. So I've been just kind of hanging out, answering questions, chatting with people about geeky stuff, and not answering all questions. I'm just going to come out and say it. If anybody wants to ask me questions about Sideshow stuff, I'm not going to answer those. I mean, I suppose I probably could, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here just to hang with my people. Because there's not much else to do for the course of the next hour or so. No giveaways this time, but although I am talking to somebody about it. Yeah, cool. Been following me for a few years on YouTube. Thanks, man. I know I haven't exactly been prolific with the content lately. A lot of that has to do with, and this is actually another reason why I'm doing this, but a lot of it has to do with all the work that I do for Sideshow. Once you start getting paid for doing something that you love, then the thing that you love becomes the job, and you kind of start to resent it. So this is part of a series of things that I'm doing, trying to reconnect with it. And it seems to be working. I'm having much more fun, even at the job, than I was before. And so yeah, I'm going to keep going forward with it, and we'll just see how that goes. If it keeps going the way that it's going, though, I think you can plan on having seeing some pretty cool content. As you may have guessed, I actually do have 6 scale figures just laying around all over the place. This is the Clone Wars Darth Maul. I actually had this thing going with Ahsoka for a little while, playing with it, trying to recreate the environment, not the environment. What did they call those? The diorama, the versus diorama that Sideshow did for Ahsoka and Maul. God, that's just the thing about these action lightsabers. They're cool. They look great in photography, but they're so heavy that the wrist pegs just can't take it most of the time. Which is why I only use them for photography usually, or when I'm trying to recreate something else like that diorama. But it's yeah, it's interesting. John Galgano is here. Hey man, it's always good to see you, dude. Yeah, one of the only people in the world that can beat me at Star Wars trivia. Always an honor. Yeah. So, let's see. My agenda is very short. I wish the whooshing effects were a bit lighter. Yeah. I can't think of a way that they can do that, though, right? It just seems like anything that they do to make them lighter is probably going to reduce the amount of transparency that you have. It's just not going to look as good. And it's going to be more fragile, more delicate, and more apt to break. I mean, if you try to make it hollow, then that plastic is just going to be really thin. You probably can't even safely pull something from a mold like that, let alone, again, I don't even know how you would do it. I did molding cast for a little while, and hey, Luis, welcome. We got John Galgano, Doc Smizzle, Luis Escavia, right? I don't know. I'm horrible with pronunciation of names, and I apologize for that. Commander Green, Harold. You messaged me a few days ago with some images, and I was in the middle of something, and I meant to get back to you, and I completely forgot. I am so sorry. They were great images. That's part of the reason why I didn't get back to you, is because I didn't want to be brief with it. I actually wanted to give you the attention that the images deserve. It's legitimately some of the best work I've seen you do, man, and you've really come a long way since I met you, what, 3 years ago? 3 years ago? So great, solid stuff. If you guys aren't following, I see your name here is Commander Green, which is great, by the way. That's like a chick magnet net handle if ever there was one. But just feel free to drop what your Instagram handle is now if it's the same. But then either way, Doc's Mills. Look at all these fine folks. I know we got a good group here, right? We got 8 viewers. Not as strong as my Facebook outings, but still, whatever. Again, I'm not here for the numbers. I'm not here for money. I'm not monetizing this. I'm just here to hang out, dudes. And yeah, because I don't get to hang out a lot with geeky people anymore. And Saturday morning's about the closest that I come to it. So yeah, feel free to entertain me with any questions that you might have regarding stuff. But first, I really wanted to show off. I really wanted to get a Garfield coffee mug, and so I did a search for one on Etsy, or actually just on the internet, and I ordered this one. It's an Andrew Garfield coffee mug. Yeah. So I've got my Garfield coffee mug. Scratch that off the bucket list. And the coffee tastes really good in it. I'm not sure what kind of an effect coffee mugs have on the taste of coffee, but yeah, whatever. Oh, also let me know how you found this. Did it pop up on the TK421 Collectibles is here. Hello from the UK. Good to see you, sir. But let me know how you found this, if you think of it. If it came up on your YouTube feed, or if you came here from Facebook, because I did post a message to Facebook because I want to know if this is working. Did you get to finish off Strange New Worlds? I did get to finish off Strange New Worlds, and it was a delightful way to wrap up that particular story arc. And I'm sure we're not done with it. I'm sure that what's her name is going to pop up again, and I look forward to how they include her in future episodes. If you guys aren't watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, if you're a Star Trek fan who was disillusioned for whatever reason by Picard and or Discovery, I don't include myself in that category. I found things to enjoy about both those shows. But I have to say that taking into account how much I enjoyed Disco and Picard, Disco and Pico, can we just start calling them that? However much I enjoyed those, this legitimately is a return to form for Star Trek. If you're a fan of the original series, if you're a fan of Next Gen, if you're a fan of Voyager even, although that was also a little bit more soap operatic than it was serialized. But yeah, check that show out. It is really, really, really good. Mike got to pop up on YouTube. John got through Facebook. That's cool. Yeah, all right, that's cool. So people are finding their way here in a variety of different ways. So yeah, Strange New Worlds was awesome. I think I left a thing on Facebook saying, "Oh, it's going to be one of those episodes," and it is. Think the hollow. What are they? The holodeck. Think the holodeck episodes of Next Generation, and you've got the right idea. So yeah, again, they're bringing up all the cool classic stuff. This brings up an interesting point. All the cool stuff coming from Exo 6. for those of you who don't know, and I mentioned it in I think the last live stream, I'm going to Comic-Con. I'm going to be at Comic-Con. I hadn't planned on it. I didn't really want to go, but Sideshow rang me up and said, "Hey, can you go?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." so I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for the whole duration. So if you're going to be there, let me know, and yeah, we'll try to hook up sometime after the con. I think I'm just going to be there for like setup and teardown, and the occasional host duty for live stream for Sideshow. So I'll be bouncing around when I'm not working for them. I'll probably go check out some exclusives. You won't find me in Hall H. I'm not waiting in line anymore. I'm too old to wait in line. It's not the same for me anymore. John Galgano loves Exo6's stuff. I did a round of photography on 7 of 9, Luis. I'm not sure if I was supposed to share that or not, but they haven't sent me anything else since then, so I assume they didn't like what I did, which is fine. I've got enough on my plate. I didn't need to take one more gig, although it's always nice to have more money. Let's see. Mike hasn't been since 2015. I don't think I've been since 2015. I'm pretty sure the last time I went with Sideshow was 2015. They just sent me down there for a couple of days to do some photography. And I came back up. I left full-time employment at Sideshow in 2016, right before Comic-Con, so I didn't go then, and I haven't been back as either a fan or an employee since. Really surprised that they did this, because I know they're kind of I know there was budgetary concerns with like flying people. They're trying to cut costs in that regard. They're not flying as many of the remote people out, but for whatever reason, they made an accommodation for me and 1 or 2 others. So yeah, I'll be out there for that. That's a Sideshow question I can answer. Again, for those of you just joining us, I made a comment at the beginning, but yeah, feel free to ask me anything. Sideshow stuff is kind of out of bounds. I just I don't know enough. If I do what I do with Sideshow. I'm very compartmentalized. I live in a box at Sideshow, and I don't know a whole lot that's going on outside of it. So even if I could answer your questions, I probably couldn't give you any solid answers. That's the simplest way to say it. Looking at comments here. Are you not entertained? That's what somebody brought up about Kenobi, right? Did we all see Kenobi? I'm assuming we've all seen Kenobi at this point, right? Sound off in the chats. I'm going to give like 60-second window for people to sound off in the chats and let me know if they haven't seen Kenobi and or if they intend to see it, or if spoilers will ruin their day. Doc Smizzle. That was you. What was you, Doc? Did I miss something? Oh, that said, "Are you not entertained?" That was really, really good, dude. Did you make that? Because I loved it. It almost became one of those stolen memes. In fact, I still might. Oh, Luis has not seen the finale. Okay. All right. So, Luis, I will alert you when it is okay to come back live. Turn up the volume, Luis. That's what I'm going to write right here. It up, Luis. There. I'll show you that when you can come back. But yeah, I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about Kenobi in general. Again, I think I talked about it last week, how I know that there were quite a bit of rewrites, quite a bit of reshoots. And whether the story suffered or benefited from it is anyone's guess outside of the production crew. I don't know. I know that they wanted it to be more upbeat. I think that's been made public. I think I heard that publicly. I didn't get that from any inside sources. Oh, hey, Gina. Yeah, I love that Angela thing too. More on that in a second. Maybe I'll bring that up for a closer look. But getting back to Kenobi, I've found a lot to like about it. I think that there were some things that I thought would happen that didn't happen, and like anybody else, the fact that those things didn't happen disappointed me. But it's not my playground. It's not my sandbox. And again, our mission, I don't want to say duty, but our role at this point is just to find things to enjoy with it, and to enjoy it, or to choose to enjoy it, or to choose not to enjoy it. It really does come down to that. I can find things to like about pretty much anything. I don't think it's that hard. And legitimately, if I don't enjoy something, you'll know it because I won't talk about it. That's it. I've got other things to do with my time. I don't spend any time talking about anything that I don't enjoy. If you ask me about something I don't enjoy, I'll probably just be like, eh, and then start talking about something else. But anyway, let's talk about that fight. Because, damn. And let's talk about the other fights as well, because going back to the first battle between Kenobi and Vader, there was a lot of negative feedback surrounding that fight. And again, I think it was people expecting that fight to be something completely different, but they weren't taking into account what Kenobi was going through, what he'd been through, what he was still going through, and that's that he clearly has post-traumatic stress. I also feel like the Force is kind of like a muscle. If you don't use it, then you lose it. See also Grogu. Because Grogu was very clearly somebody who was Force sensitive, who had been trained at the Jedi Temple, and for however many years was not training, and he lost a lot of his shit. He didn't know how to use the Force anymore. He had to be retaught. Even Luke said it right there in that episode of the Book of Boba Fett. He's not training him. He's not teaching him. He's just reminding him. And that's kind of what Kenobi had to go through, right? It just feels like that. It felt like that to me right from the get-go. Oh, yeah, he's going through what Grogu went through. It's like when Luke cut himself off from the Force. Same thing. In fact, I even wrote about that with the Obi-Wan Kenobi Mythos statue, the first one. I wrote the backstory for that. And I touched on that, how I said, it was like I wrote like a journal entry. He can't reach out with the Force. He doesn't dare reach out for the Force. When he feels another Jedi die, he can't go help them because the taking care of Luke took the priority. So he disconnected himself from the Force for a variety of reasons. Clearly, I need more coffee from my Garfield coffee mug. Hello, Keith Lee. A little bit late today. That's cool. Yeah, Keith Lee is a fellow St. Louisan. Actually, he's a Canadian who just recently became an American. Which I said this to him too. I'm pretty sure means that there's a vacancy in Canada. So I think I've got enough gas in the car. I don't know. We think they'll take me. Any Canadians in the house? Let me know. If anybody wants to sponsor a future Canadian, especially in light of recent events, I'm all for relocating. Okay, John Galgano. Yes, Ahsoka said his power would fade over time without training. Boom. There's precedent. There's precedent for that. So it should have come as no surprise to people that Obi-Wan could not hold his own against Vader. And as to, I can't remember who it was. I was chatting with somebody. It's a new friend that I've never met. I think he's from my hometown, but he was a few years ahead of me in school, so we never really knew each other. He's currently living in Texas. And he took Gina, I knew you were Canadian. I totally knew that. Yeah, sorry. But my friend said that he took exception both to what he considered the sloppy duel at the beginning, the first few episodes. And I don't think he'd seen the finale at that point. It's possible that he still hasn't seen it. This was last night that we had this conversation. But his issue wasn't just with Kenobi not holding his own, but with Vader not really pushing it. I think Vader was just surprised. He came into this fight expecting, look what happened to Vader, suffering his own version of post-traumatic stress, right? He goes into this whole fight thinking that it's just going to be very much like the flashback fight that we saw, with Obi-Wan just basically giving no ground and eventually dominating him, which is exactly eventually what happened, but not for a few more episodes. But for that fight, he was just like, where is it? What's happening? And you actually heard it in his voice when he says, your powers are weak or something like that. I know he said that in A New Hope, but he said something similar in that episode of Kenobi. But yeah, I think it took Vader off guard. And when he realized that Kenobi didn't have his skills anymore, that's when he started toying with him. That's when it became like this whole cat playing with a mouse thing. That's when you saw Vader going really evil. And let's make no mistake, this is some of the most evil we've seen Vader throughout this entire saga, this 6 episodes of this series. We've very rarely seen him more bad. I stopped short of saying badass because that brings up another topic that I can discuss at another time. But this live stream's already getting a little bit long and my hair's already getting kind of dry. So it's I think that there is a cult surrounding Darth Vader, and I think that I want to stop short of saying people want to emulate him, but far too many people think that he's cool, and he's not. He's powerful. He's intimidating. He's like a really good Bond villain. But I really, really get disturbed. Great disturbance in the Force when I see people really almost idolizing Vader. And it's one thing to hold him in awe, but another thing to just put him up on a pedestal as just being cool. I've heard way too many people. I've heard politicians saying that Darth Vader, the Empire, is what you want to be. And I'm like, really? Were you not paying attention? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to check out some comments really here because I noticed that they've been scrolling by. We have 17 viewers today. Right, Keith? AJ Agrusa, hello, AJ. Good to see you. Hope all is well. It's all right, man. Yeah. Good morning from Ed Martin 76. Hello, Ed. Keith is asking what characters I would want you to see Hot Toys make from Obi-Wan. That's tough. Because, okay, I really do want to get a third sister figure. And maybe even a Grand Inquisitor figure. But more than anything, after watching that final episode, and by the way, I'm going to bring Luis back in. More than anything, after watching that final episode, I know that Hot Toys already announced their Darth Vader figure. But I'm really hoping that at Comic-Con, we're going to see some additional accessories. And y'all know what I mean. There needs to be a swap-out portrait. By the way, I'm just going to go and say, Luis, come on back in, dude. Can you see that? I'm going to just switch over to this. Oh, it's too bright. There we go. Yeah. Come on back in, man. Come on. Luis hadn't seen the episode. Anybody who's just joining us, Luis hadn't seen the episode, so he was going to turn the volume down while I talked about the spoiler parts. I'm done talking about the spoiler parts. Now we can just go ahead and have fun. John Galgano, Vader was brutal. He really was. Just marching through that town and just snapping necks and holding people up in the air randomly, just trying to draw Obi-Wan out. Maybe he was trying to draw Obi-Wan out. Maybe that's just how Vader rolls when he goes to town. We've all had bad days. Vader has a collection of them. Battle damage Vader would sell like hotcakes. Yeah, I'd be all over that like hair on a gorilla, my friend. I would break my buying hiatus for that. For those of you who don't know, that's right. I'm on a collecting hiatus at this point because I have a sick dog and bills are very, very expensive. Luis is back. Cool. Welcome back, Luis. Third sister figure. Yes, definitely third sister figure. Who else? There is a part of me, and I'm drawing a blank on both the character and the actor's name, but the guy that was playing the Jedi, pretending to be a Jedi and doing all the cons. I really would like to see that as maybe, I don't know, but they're not doing convention. They don't seem to be doing convention exclusives that are completely unique anymore. That doesn't seem to be a thing. It's always going to be the Chrome Clone Trooper or the Black Chrome Death Trooper or Evil Sith Eyes Anakin or something like that. So I don't think we can expect to see that as a convention exclusive. It's really, really, really up in the air. And I can think of a couple of reasons why I don't think it will ever happen that I don't want to utter here. Would love to see a Purge Trooper, says TK421 Collectibles. Yeah, that's shown up in a couple of different mediums now. And I think it would be really awesome to see a Purge Trooper. There was something that struck me as just off about the Purge Trooper in Obi-Wan, though, right? It looked, something about the helmet felt different to me. I need to go back and look at it because I know the Purge Troopers in Fallen Order use the helmet from the Airborne Troopers? Yeah, the Utapau Troopers, the Airborne helmet with with Commander Cody there at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Neon Tech Iron Man. Mike Game says Neon Tech Iron Man. That is another good example of something that they do in sort of a convention exclusive way. By the way, I love those. I know there's probably a contingent of people out there who are going to see this and say that I'm only saying that because they haven't sold out at Sideshow and I'm trying to pimp Sideshow. That's bullshit. If I say something, especially on this channel, you can count on it just being my genuine thoughts on it. And if it's something that I'm not allowed to say, or if some of the Sideshow's going to frown at me for saying, I probably won't say it. That's true. But if I tell you that I like something, I damn well like it. Fabulous Disaster has one of the coolest names to pop up on that feed today. How's it going there, Disaster? What do you prefer to be called? Fab? Zas? Yeah? I'm just going to go with Fab. Commander Green, I don't like the Phase 2 Purge helmet as much, but still a cool design. Yeah, it's weird, right? It doesn't... Now, keep in mind, too, that this is the Purge Trooper helmets. This is when the clones were all CGI, as I recall. I don't think they had any practical clone armor back then. I think that was all just... Which is why it worked so well. Because you could put the helmet on a non-existing human and it wouldn't collide with the front of his face. It just seems really, really flat. I'm trying to remember if I have one out at the moment, and I do not. I've got a couple, one in the box and one that's just loose and incomplete. I'm still trying to find a comma for one of those. So if anybody knows where I can get a comma for a purge for an airborne Utapau trooper, then please let me know. Luis, in my humble opinion, we are so fortunate to be receiving these Disney Plus installments of Star Wars, Mando, Kenobi, etc. As a kid, we had to wait years for the OG to be released. Word. Yeah, that's 100% how I feel about it. Once you've been starved of something for a long time, then you will really appreciate it when you finally get it. I also want to remind anybody who watches this that's hating on Disney's Star Wars offerings. I just want to remind you of how much the prequels were hated back in the day, and how much, similarly to the ways that you hear people hating on the Disney Star Wars films, the sequel films. And I remember telling people after Episode 3 came out that to wait. Give it a decade, because the kids who were kids watching those films back in the day when they were first coming out, once they're adults, they're still going to hold those films right here. That's going to be their Star Wars. That's going to be their inaugural Star Wars, and that's going to be what they treasure. And it's true. It's 100% true. Yeah, sure, there's opinions vary, and some have grown into the OT, and some have moved on to the PT. But it's 100% accurate that. And I think it's also accurate to say that the children who were kids today, who are just now being exposed to Star Wars through the sequel trilogy, same rules are going to apply. In 10, 15 years, those kids are going to grow up, they're going to go out, they're going to get jobs, they're going to have disposable income, assuming the economy doesn't tank for all eternity. And those are the ones who are going to be the driving force behind the collecting community. For those out there who actually choose to speculate about the value of collectibles, you might want to keep that in mind. Because the really good stuff, the really good looking stuff that's coming out today, that's Disney Star Wars related, in 10, 15 years, I think that's the stuff that's going to be valuable. Especially if it holds up, if you don't play with it a lot the way that I did with mine. Moving on here. Can you share what was the most challenging figure you had to review in How to Be a Poser? Yes, although it's not really review, is it? It's more of an educational thing. And actually, I'm just going to take this opportunity to say, anytime that I do a video, whether it's for Sideshow or for my own channel, I really try to go out of my way to avoid the typical review format. I don't really feel comfortable telling people what they should or shouldn't buy. I'm more interested in trying to provide as accurate of a look at whatever figure it is to people who are viewing it, and they can make their own decisions. I try not to share beyond my abject enthusiasm that sometimes is uncontainable. I try not to share my thoughts on a figure. You won't ever hear me say, "Don't buy this figure, it's junk." Why would I do that? Yeah, there's going to be somebody out there who's going to love that figure, and they just had to hear me say that the figure that they love is junk. No, I'm not. I won't do it. I'm not going to be that guy to somebody. I'm not gonna piss on somebody's parade. I just refuse to. But getting back to, what was the question again? I think it was from Keith. Can you share what the most challenging figure you had to review and How to Be a Poser was? Dude, yeah. First Order Stormtrooper box set, or deluxe set, the 2-figure set, hands down, was a challenge to pose. Very, very, very hard. To the extent that none of the team, the guy that, back in the day, How to Be a Poser was shot just me and one dude in a room, and he edited it down. It was quick and dirty. But he wanted, as a joke, as a gag, and with my encouragement, he actually edited out all the 4-letter words, so that, and made a video of it, just me dropping F-bombs and S-bombs and POS bombs and you name it, man. I mean, it was like 2 to 3 solid minutes of of profanity. It was hilarious, and I'm really, really sad to say that it's been lost to time. I had it on my hard drive on my computer at Sideshow. When I left Sideshow, I completely forgot about it, and the computer got wiped. I didn't get a chance to back it up. And that guy left Sideshow immediately after I did, so God knows what happened to everything on his computer. But somewhere out there, potentially in Sideshow's servers, is a 2 to 3 minute video of me just swearing, uncut swearing. So that was a lot of fun. And since then, you can, if you go back in this channel, on this YouTube channel, you can find a subsequent video that I did of all the First Order stormtroopers. Captain Phasma's in there as well. I think it's called First Order Stormtrooper, Can It Be Posed? And it can be. It's just, like I said, it's challenging. You just have to really pay attention to what you're doing, and you have to put thought into every motion. Otherwise, you're going to pop a hand off, pop a foot off, whatever. It was their first, I think, attempt doing something like that, and they really had to get it out really, really quickly, I think. Anyway, back to questions. Fabulous Disaster, and I enjoy Star Wars, period. When I watch, I take it for what it is and don't overthink it. That's a good way to do it. I completely agree that's fair. I still overthink it, and I still wind up liking it. So that's why I'm eyeing the Hot Toys Rise of Skywalker Kylo, which I have right over here. It's a great figure, especially with that light up effect on the helmet. The first time I opened it, I didn't play with that light up effect, but more recently I was moving it around, doing stuff with it. I was getting ready for Celebration. I reset this whole studio for Star Wars stuff, and actually took the time to play with it this time, and it's gorgeous. Oh no, that's not what happened. You know what happened? Here's a little insider story. They send me figures to shoot here for How to Be a Poser in waves. So I'll get like a box with like 5 to 8 Hot Toys and Sideshow and whatever figures to shoot footage for How to Be a Poser, and then it gets sent off to an editor, and the editor makes his magic and makes it look like I know what I'm doing. But I got a message from Super Producer Sam a few weeks ago saying, "Hey, have you given us all the How to Be a Poser videos?" And I'm like, "Yep, you got it all, dude. It's all there." Yeah. He's like, "Oh, okay." And then silence. And I messaged him back. I'm like, "Just out of curiosity, why do you ask?" "Oh, we can't find the Kylo Ren video." So I did a little bit of digging, and sure enough, and I'm sure that I shot the footage, but apparently I deleted the footage for the Kylo Ren How to Be a Poser video and had to reshoot the whole thing 2 weeks ago or so. So that's why I was playing with Kylo Ren, and it's amazing. I've got him in there with Rey, with Rise of Skywalker Rey, and the Dio, obviously, but also with BB-8 and BB-9E, because I just love myself some ball droids. I'm talking way more than I thought I would. I don't know why. He's Fabulous Disaster. I keep using you. I think I just could keep going back to your name, which is just great. TK421 Collectibles says that's why I'm the best. I don't know which part you're talking about, but thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Liza loves the positive attitude towards reviews. I can't imagine. I know that it gets clicks. I know that it gets views, and I get that. But one thing with my own YouTube channel that I came to realize is that I had a choice. I could either keep doing things the way that I like to do them, or I was going to have to modify. I was going to have to do things like clickbait. I was going to have to use negative engagement and just try to attract people who are already angry about something, and try to stoke that anger towards something else. And I just decided I didn't have an interest in that at all. Keith Lee was going to predict that you were going to say Underworld Celine figure. That was not a How to Be a Poser. That was a Toys Will Be Toys. And I did that review for... Man, that was for Star Race. I was doing that as a favor for friends at Star Race. I'm not going to comment on that. Which should say everything it has to say. AJ Agrusa, I had more issues than I thought I would with the heavy infantry Mando I just opened. The back hand on the gun kept popping off, but I got it eventually. Yeah, that one is challenging. I think that's something that it shares in common with the First Order Stormtroopers, right? Because it's the armored, the collision of the armored elements that aren't really so much of an issue when we're talking about CGI. But of course, none of this is CGI in Disney Star Wars. It's all practical, which is brilliant. Welcome back, practical effects. Welcome back, practical costumes. So yeah, I've also got that one next to me too. There's a Mando Death Watch armorer shelf. I just love Mandalorians. Those are the figures that I break that aforementioned buying hiatus for. They're just, I can't not own Mandos. I mean, every Boba Fett, got it. I think that's my focus now. I legitimately do. Luis, Terry, I love and miss your How to Be a Poser videos, especially the Avengers Infinity War Machine. Rhodes needs to step up to the plate and become lead armored dog. Thanks, man. Yeah, none of that is scripted. That's just off the cuff. I try not to script. You know what I do script? They've had me doing some unboxing videos, the first look unboxings, because there's just so many of them that they can't get to them all. So they send me about one a week now, I guess, every other week. And so I'm helping fill in on that. And it's been fun. It's challenging. For something so simple and condensed, it legitimately requires more video. It requires me to shoot more video and edit more video than anything else that I do. And I'm the only one doing it. So, yeah. There are more poser videos coming. I just turned one into them last week. Boba Fett. Yeah, it's coming. There we go. That's a little insider thing for you. So yeah, Boba Fett Deluxe. It's coming. I don't know when it's coming because they've got a lot of them on deck. And actually, you're right. I'm trying to remember the last video for How to Be a Poser that was posted. I think it's been a few weeks. I think we got caught up with Celebration, and now Sideshow Con is happening, and now Comic-Con is going to happen. So, Keith Lee, How to Be a Poser is responsible for at least 3 unplanned purchases. Thanks a lot, Terry. I'm there for you. I'm your friend. Oh, I'm glad, man. I mean, I hope that you don't regret the purchases. I don't think that you will. It's very rare, almost unheard of, that I don't like a figure that I do for How to Be a Poser. There have been one or two, but I'll let other people reveal what those are. My Trooper's foot just will not stay on anymore. Yeah, that's a shame, right? I have several First Order Troopers, and there are 1 or 2 that have that issue. So the fact that I have, like, I don't know, 6 First Order Troopers and only 1 of them has a bad foot is kind of okay, I guess. It's again, I'm much more forgiving than a lot of people are, mostly because I'm just like, if you get a figure and it's bad, then especially if you get it from Sideshow, you can count on their customer service to take care of it for you. They'll handle it. Liza Sella says, "Oh no." I don't know why. Just kind of asking some more questions here. Wow. 26 viewers. 25. Lost one. Scott Heinemeyer. I missed the Star Wars setup for the live stream. Scott, you're biased. You helped me set that shit up. That's my friend Scott Heinemeyer, ladies and gentlemen. Scott and I hang out at least once a week. I probably spend more time with Scott than I do any 2 other people in this galaxy or from this galaxy or any other. But Scott came over before Celebration when I found out that I was going to be hosting the shows, and he helped me tear all of this Marvel stuff down and move in a bunch of Star Wars stuff and get it set up to make it look good for the Star Wars Celebration live streams. And it was so good. It looked so good that for like 2 weeks after Celebration was over, I didn't change it. I just left it up. In fact, and the only reason I did put it back is because I had all these X-Men statues over here in my living room. They were on a board on top of the couch. They were on the floor. They were on the side tables, the coffee table, whatever. And there was no place for anybody to sit in the living room. It looked horrible. And I had friends coming over for a movie night on Thursday night, so I had to change it back and put away all the Star Wars stuff. But it'll be back. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my display next time. I mean, all of us collectors out there, we do that, right? Yeah? Feel free to sound off. I mean, how often do you change up your setup? I know that I talk about how I like to I like to curate, move things in and out. But I'm coming to find out that that's kind of bullshit. I do also enjoy finding a great pose for a figure, and once it's there, just leaving it. So I don't know. We'll see what the future of that's going to be. Commander Green, I love that Kylo. I took a photo of it a few months ago, and probably one of my favorites I've ever taken. Everybody go to Commander Green's Instagram, because I've watched that channel evolve over the past several years, and the guy is really, really a solid figure photographer in general. Started out with Black Series, I believe, right, Harold? And slowly built your way into a Hot Toys territory, and now your stuff's just really awesome. John Galgano is looking forward to Bo-Katan release. Hell yeah. Man. Can I just say how much of a delight that was for me? That they were able to. Like, she was going to say no. Like, Katie Sackhoff was going to say no. That they chose to stick with Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. There was just no other way to do that. My brain would have rebelled against anybody else wearing that armor. So they just keep doing things right. I know the opinions vary on that when it comes to certain things, but they just keep doing things right with Mandalorian. I loved Book of Boba Fett. There are certain elements of it that I'm just like, whose idea was that? But they made it work, and it's cool, and I enjoy it now. It's fine. Scott, we are both shills for the Mandalorians. I'm thinking I now want all the Mandalorian 6 skill. Like I told you last week, welcome to the rabbit hole. Scott is he's just been baptized into the realm of Hot Toys. Trying to think. I think Captain Marvel was your first, right, Scott? The deluxe, the long-haired one. Anyway, I think... And which one did I pose for you? Mando. That's right, Mando on... The OG Mando, the Durasteel Mando. Yeah. So I went over to Scott's house and posed a figure for him. Which is a service I'm thinking of offering. For a small fee. Not really, no. Keith Lee, does change setup mean adding more stuff? If so, then yes, I'm constantly changing my setup. It could be interpreted that way, right? But no, in my case, I went from... The amount of figures that I have on display now is a small fraction of what I had on display a year and a half ago. Because I moved into a house that's really not conducive to displaying. There's a lot of windows that have to be covered up, and there's not a lot of wall space. I've got a full basement, the same size as the main floor, but it's not finished. And while I know of one or two people, I know of a YouTuber who streams from his basement that's not finished. And he makes it work. He makes it look good. But for me, I'd have to walk down there and I'd have to look at it. I want the whole room to be the experience. I want to be able to go there and chill. I don't want to go down and have some detofs lined up against the river rock wall with concrete floor and you know, my only company being the brown recluse spiders in my basement. That's not something that I'm into. My game's back. Glad she's back as Bo-Katan. Me too. Liza Sella, I need to hang shelves and redo all my Star Wars Hot Toy poses. You are a true collector right there. Luis, right on, Terry. Bo-Katan was awesome. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are just doing Star Wars such justice. I think that's incontestable. They really are. I love that meme of the two kids playing with the Kenner action figures, where they say this is actually Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau just writing the script for the new Star Wars and for the new Mandalorian season. That's great. Mando was the first. Scott says his first was Mando, then Captain Marvel, and now Boba Fett and Captain America. Bo-Katan and Ahsoka are coming soon. Well, which Ahsoka? Is it this one? Or is it Mandalorian Ahsoka? Yeah. Yeah. For those of you who weren't there at the beginning, this is actually my attempt at recreating Sideshow's versus diorama of Darth Maul versus Ahsoka Tano. And it looks really good when I've got it on the stands that I made for it, but I just broke those stands down. So they're just laying here haphazardly on my desk. In fact, if you guys saw some of the shit in here, you'd probably just recoil in horror. Yeah, I gotta be more careful. Continuing with the comments. What time is it? 15 minutes? Okay, cool. Brendan Riley was thinking of you the other day, Terry, when I purchased CGC 9.8 Daredevil number 9. First appearance of Echo. Well, yeah, you were thinking of me. You told me about it. That's really cool, man. I've got that one somewhere around here. I need to send it off and get it graded. I had no idea that it was fetching that much money. I'm actually getting ready to sell a bunch of comic books, everybody. They're all downstairs just sitting in boxes. A lot of them I have doubled up in hardcover, so there's just no sense in keeping them other than hoarding. But the price that the collectible comics, especially graded comics, are getting these days is just kind of ridiculous. I feel like I could sell my comic collection and pay off my house. It's probably not true, but Scott is saying that it's the Rosario Ahsoka that he's getting. El Profesoro, that's a great name. The Clone Wars Ahsoka and Maul are great figures. They look so good in the display. They really do. They really do. And that season 7 is some of the best storytelling in Star Wars, period. Those last 4 episodes, exciting, frightening, heartbreaking. Just 4 solid episodes, 4 solid 22-minute episodes or is it more than 22 minutes? I don't even know. How long is that when you put them all together? Just sheer brilliance. Some of the best storytelling in Star Wars that we've had to date, and I don't know when they're going to top it or if they ever will. Keith Lee, Terry, I can pay you in chicken wings and old fashions to pose my figures. You know what, dude? I'm down for that. I would almost show up at your house, eat some chicken wings with you, and drink down some old fashions. Probably after doing the posing, though, because chicken wings will make my fingers all greasy, and old fashions will make me drunk, and I don't really pose well when I'm drunk. So that's something we'll have to consider. Let's keep that in mind. Look at all the comments rolling in, and we got 22 viewers. That's great. So glad she's back as Bo-Katan. All right. Well, questions seem to be winding down. What else did I want to talk about? I keep saying I'm going to bring up music, and I'm trying to remember what I've been listening to lately. But to tell the truth, you know what I've been listening to lately is Iron Maiden. 2 albums specifically I've been listening to Somewhere in Time, and I've been listening to Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and they're still among my favorites, and I'm having a good time listening to them. So, but if again, I'm looking for new shit. I've been listening to Ghost's new album a lot still. The new stuff from Sophie Tucker is a lot of fun. That group Wet Leg out of England, it's just a 2-person act. I think they have 3 or 4 people in the band now for touring, but the album is just the 2 of them. That's great stuff. So check out Wet Leg. It's really offbeat, snarky, cheeky, sexy. A lot of fun. Check that out. Single songwriter. Did you finally get those Snow Troopers? Which ones? First order? I have 4. The Snow Troopers from Empire. I've got the 2-pack. So I guess technically it's kind of from Empire, but I think it's legitimately, like, it's technically classified as one of the video game Masterpiece series, which it's all the same. As far as I know, unless somebody knows something that I'm not privy to. I didn't really get that close of a look at them. But yeah, Snow Troopers are Snow Troopers for me. So I've got some Snow Troopers, and they're a lot of fun. Oh shit, yeah. Scott reminded me, talk about Boba Fett's album. Did you guys know that, and I'm probably the last one to know this. Scott and I are probably the last ones to know this, but Tamora Morrison has an album out of classic rock covers. And it's amazing. It's just called Tem. Like, I picked Scott up last Saturday. We just went cruising around, like, the Metro East area of St. Louis, checking out comic book shops. And I just hit play on this record, and he was like, dude, is this it? He's really good. He has a great voice. One of the songs that he does on there is actually Drift Away by Bob Seger. You know, Give Me the Beat Boys and Free My Soul, which he performed live in that ridiculously disjointed and chaotic interview at Star Wars Celebration with what's her name? Danny Ortega? Or Dan? Oh shit. What is her name? The woman who does the Star Wars show. I can't remember her name, and I'm so sorry. Because you know she's watching this. No, she's not. So yeah, check out Tem by Tamora Morrison. I'm just gonna pull it up right here on my phone. Yeah, sure, why not? Phone. I'm gonna pull it up and just rattle off to you guys some of the songs that are on this record, and are just absurdly enjoyable. His Midnight Special, Drift Away, Bring it on home to me. I just called to say I love you. He does. It's not unusual. He's like total lounge singer guy in this thing. And Wonderful World, not that version, the other version. Let It Be by the Beatles. Amazing. And he wraps it up with I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. So download that stuff and give it a listen because it's a lot of fun. Just cruising around, just being able to say I'm cruising around shopping for comic books, listening to Boba Fett sing classic rock. That's a great weekend for anybody. Wade Wilson, what do you think of the new Boba Fett, the one that was just announced with Cad Bane? Better than the repaint armor version of Boba. What do they call that? It was a dopo. Day one pre-order for me. I actually, to be honest, I didn't even look at it that closely. I just saw that it was released and I'm just like, Mandalorian ordered. It is that simple. I am that simple of a creature. I think, but just going on my gut. Oh, my hair's almost dry. So when my hair dries, that's when the live stream ends, everybody. Going with my gut on this one, I feel like the differences are going to be marginal. So at this point, it's just a matter of preference insofar as the accessories are concerned. I do have the repaint armor with the throne on order, and I intend to keep that. But there is some stuff that comes with this one, as I recall, that is also not included with that one. I don't know. I think the main difference has to do with what he's wearing underneath, as I recall. But I'll have to look closer at it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this again next week, and ask me again then, and by then I promise that I will have taken a closer look at it. Also, I'm going to figure out more about how to do this OBS thing. I'm just on basic entry-level OBS right now, and I'm going to try to figure out ways that I can, throw images up on there and really help us engage. Maybe even mirror my screen so that we can do something like look at the new Boba Fett together. I don't know how to do that yet, but I'll figure that one out. I did not know Boba Fett had music. Yeah, neither did I until last week, and I want to say that it was Joe, Sideshow Joe, who let me know about that. So thank you, Joe. I also wonder if any of my Sideshow cohorts are in here waiting for me to screw up. How many 6-scale figures do you have, and will you ever do a collection tour? A collection tour is unlikely at this point, mostly because I don't have what I consider to be that impressive of a collection display. You're looking at most of it. What you can see behind me is most of it. There are 2 Detolfs, one on either side of the desk, and plus a few other statues on display on my desk. But for the most part, it's a very small display that was always intended to be curated. In fact, a lot of the older stuff is about to get sold. I'm going to purge my clones here very, very soon. They're all downstairs in box. There's a lot of people out there just loving clones right now. So my clones deserve to be displayed. And if I'm not displaying them, then somebody else needs to be giving them love. Andy Gutierrez, that's right. Yeah, that's she's the one who's the host there. She's great. Hugo Ramirez, which figure from How to Be a Poser or another you've had would you say has been the most fun? Huh. And which one would be the best for photographs? That's a toughie, because I really enjoy a lot of them. And at the risk of admitting to suffering from recency bias, I'm going to say that I really, really enjoyed posing, and I'm looking at it right now. That's why I'm not looking at the camera. I really, really enjoyed posing the Boba Fett deluxe figure set from Mandalorian, from that episode, the tragedy. It was a lot of fun, and I typically don't use a lot of the accessories that come with figures, but I did with this one. Man, I used that flamethrower effect to great effect. Same thing with those that whistling birds thing. It's great. It's great. It's just so much fun when a figure actually comes with that many accessories, and they're accessories that you really want to use. I love that Hot Toys just thinks to add everything. They do that kitchen sink philosophy, where if they can make it, if it's something that the character used, they'll put it in there. But most of the time, I don't find reason to actually use it in my collection or in my display. But I can't say that about this one, and I don't know if it's because this interpretation of Boba Fett from Robert Rodriguez and the team at Team Favreau and Filoni, what they're doing with the Fett character is just so much fun. and so validating. And it really does, for the first time in history, all of us who have been fans of the look of Boba Fett and who imagine in our heads what the potential of that character, that faith is definitely being validated right now. And it really personifies itself in this figure set. So yeah, recency bias is probably playing a role in that. And if I went back and looked like just at the thumbnails of all the different How to Be a Poser videos, I'd probably just be like, oh, that one's good. Oh, that one's good too. Oh yeah, I really like that one. But we'll see. Or maybe I'll have something different next week. Everybody, ask me that question every week if you come back and watch this again. Single songwriter, Let It Be by Tim. I added some Mando scenes to make a video and send it to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. That's really cool. That's really cool. You should send that to me. I want to see that. Send me a link. Good morning, Terry from Mr. Imagination. Hello, Mr. Imagination. I like your thumbnail. It's very cool. Hugo Ramirez. Which figure from? Oh, that's. Hey, wait. I already answered that. Let's see. Wow, I've missed a lot of questions here, and I apologize for that. Real talk. What are the advantages of POing Hot Toys figures? I'm giving that one some thought, because I don't always do that anymore. I used to be like day one, pre-order it. Now I just wait. Sometimes, frequently wait, because I know that I'm in a place right now where I can't buy as many, where it doesn't do me good to buy as many because I don't have the space to display them, and yeah. So the advantages of pre-ordering is obviously you know that you've got a figure coming, so the FOMO element of it is just eradicated. The other obvious advantage of it is that companies use pre-orders to determine how many of a particular figure that they're going to make. Now, Hot Toys chooses not to reveal how many figures of a particular figure that they make, but you can bet that going into it, they base that number on interest. So they look at the pre-orders, and again, this is conjecture on my part. I want to say that I don't know. Hot Toys doesn't communicate with me, and let's assume that they communicate with somebody at Sideshow. That person at Sideshow doesn't communicate with me either. This just makes sense in my head. So this is just me guessing. But it seems to me that they just base the number of figures that they make on the number of pre-orders. So you could make the argument that by not pre-ordering, people are forcing a smaller edition size to be created. But you're also running the risk of shooting yourself in the foot. Because let's just say that all the collectors of the world organized and said, hey, let's hold back. Let's not pre-order. And let's force them to create this smaller edition size for this figure. And then when it's released, then we can pounce. And all of a sudden we have this rare figure that's going to be worth more money. Well, that raises the question, why are you collecting? Really? Are you collecting because you love the figure? Or are you collecting because you hope to profit off of that figure someday? Either answer is valid. But it's a question that you have to ask yourself when you start talking about things like that. For me personally, I just want to make sure that I get the figure. I collect it because I love it and I want to see it on my shelf. If somewhere down the line, one or two of those figures actually winds up being valuable, bonus. That's it. I think that's all I got to say about that. Oh, hope that helps, Keith. Boba on throne, Emperor on throne. Would you see a Vader on throne by Hot Toys? I hadn't considered that, but now that you mentioned that, would be really, really bitchin'. And again, we saw Vader at Celebration. We saw the Vader that they planned to, or a stand-in for a Vader figure that they're going to be releasing. I think that the final episode of Kenobi suggests that we're probably going to see some extra accessories on that when it finally goes up for pre-order. I don't know. I guess we'll probably find out at Comic-Con, which means that I'll find out before any of you guys because I'm setting all that up. So don't ask me because I won't be telling. Yeah. That'll be really cool. I really hope that they do that. I'm just really anticipating that. And I don't think that far ahead usually when it comes to figures. I usually just let them come to me, and once they're announced, that I'm just like, wow, great. You know, I'm not, when I see a character on screen, I don't frequently think, wow, that'd make a great Hot Toy. I sometimes do, but not always. But yes, Vader on throne. If they do a deluxe version of the Vader figure from Kenobi, from Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll be all over that. Definitely. I think it would look really, really cool. Moving down for the questions. How's the LCS variety in St. Louis? Local comic shop variety in St. Louis is actually... it's okay. There's a couple of comic book shops, Apotheosis Comics. They're two different locations that are actually really close to each other, and I kind of question the wisdom of that. But they're great. They have they sell beer, so that's fun. You can go there and read comic books and talk comic books and drink beer with them with other geeks. So that's neat. I haven't done that yet. I've been in the place a time or two, but usually when I'm out and about, I don't I don't mix my drinking with my reading. So something I have to actually work into my schedule. I'm actually more excited by some of the toy store options that we've got around here. There's one really close to me called Saga Toys that's just huge. It used to be like a Glix or something, so it was just like this huge clothing store footprint. Imagine that. So that's fun. And there's another one up in Florissant, which is north of St. Louis, a little suburb of St. Louis called Florissant, called damn it, I'm gonna forget the name of it. But they do brand new toys, and they do back issue comics, and that's it. Which I think is brilliant. He's not selling used toys. He's not buying your toy collection. And I think basically he's selling his own comic book collection, which is, I think, the best of all possible worlds. Not only is it cool, but it's also relatively small, well organized, and very, very tidy. The guy's a real pro. His name's Juan. And the name of the shop is Just Heroes, I think. Just Heroes, Comics, and Toys. I'm pretty sure that's it. But check it out. I dropped a link on my Facebook page a while back, but that doesn't help some of you. Wade Wilson, I'd love to see how to be a poser of Ahsoka. I could definitely use some ideas. That's a great idea. I'll do one. It's already in the pipe, man. It's going to happen. I don't know when we'll see it. I think it'll probably be a couple months out because the team's really busy, and so am I. But it is on deck. So you'll see an Ahsoka. Definitely the Clone Wars Ahsoka. I don't know. There are no plans yet for a Mandalorian Ahsoka, but I hope to see that too. Scott Heinemeyer. His collection is like the last scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark with huge warehouse scene. Yeah, that's very true. I think I've gone public with that. That's what my basement looks like. I'd love to see how to be a poser. I did that one. Can't wait to see your Boba Fett posing video. Me too. Can't wait to see how they edit that one. That's gonna be fun. Don't often get to do two figures in a how to be a poser video, and I actually worked them in together. So it's not like I did one pose of Baldy Fett and one pose of Armored Fett. I just did a pose each, and then turnarounds on 3 different poses for each figure. Anthony Manieri. Hello, Anthony. If any, what other figures would you like to see come out from the Book of Boba Fett by Hot Toys? Well, they just announced Cad Bane, and that was the big one for me, obviously. But again, I'm still... And I know they've announced Cobb Vanth, but I don't think it's up for pre-order yet, unless I'm mistaken. And let me know if I am, because I can take it. I think they've pretty much announced everybody from... Oh, Krrsantan. Obviously, right? I mean, Krrsantan is like a no-brainer. Dopo. Totally dopo. Yeah, John Galgano agrees. Black Krrsantan is definitely on the list. Black Krrsantan was a cool character in the comic books. And I can't remember the name of the actor who's portraying him. But the eyes that he brings to the table on that. And that was key for Chewbacca as well. Those gentle baby blue eyes of Peter Mayhew just coming from behind that furry mask. The same thing from this actor who plays Krrsantan, only not so kind, just mean, crazy, angry, horrifying. I think that's everything when it comes to a Wookiee. If you're going to be portraying a Wookiee, it's all going to come through here. And both those guys bring it to the table. So that's my answer. Black Krrsantan. Hear me, Hot Toys. Iron Man 7 or Mark 85? Yes. How's... Seriously, I don't make me choose Iron Man armors, man. I don't know that I have a favorite, and my favorite is probably again going to be as a result of recency bias, whichever one came in the mail to me last. In that case, that would be 85. But I do like that 7. It's a great looking figure. To give it serious thought, the 7 was an amazing design for its time. The Mark 85 has the beauty of being a nanotech armor, and that had its own challenges with trying to bring that to the table, because when you're talking about the early generations of Iron Man armors, they are more mechanical. So when you're engineering them, it's a lot easier to do them and make them read more realistically. But once the Mark 50 became a reality and Hot Toys had to actually develop that as a working armor, then it became more challenging, because you will notice that there's never a break in Tony's armor in Infinity War or in Endgame, because of the nature of everything just flowing. So then it became more challenging for Hot Toys, and the fact that they were able to pull that off at all is testimony to how great they are at creating these figures. Doc Smizzle, like triggering a roll down in Jerry and Marge Go Large. I honestly don't know what that means. I'm sorry. That's a reference to something, and I don't know what it is. Huh. 2-pack Boba posing video. I think that'd be the first How to Be a Poser with 2 figures. No, that's not entirely true, because we did do a How to Be a Poser video. We tried out a Versus series, and I think we're going to try it out again. That's all I'll say about it. But we tried out a Versus series where we did Thanos versus the Mark 50. So do a quick search for that. I think that might be the first one, and there might be 1 or 2 more, but I'm not sure. Again, it's all starting to blend together for me now. Do you have any idea of what figures are in the pipeline of announcements? Anthony, I do not, and even if I did, I would be unable to say. I'm bound by a non-disclosure agreement, as anybody else at Sideshow is. But to be honest, no, they don't. They choose not to share it with me. And I'm comfortable with that. I kind of like being part of the big reveal along with everybody else. Waking up on any given morning and opening up my phone and finding that Hot Toys just announced Cad Bane. So I'm experiencing that excitement at the same time as everybody else. And that's cool. That's fun. Terry Smith, do you think there will be a 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi by Hot Toys 1983 to 2023? Well, again, conjecture on my part, but I would be surprised if there wasn't. I mean, they did it. They did a rollout for the 40th of Empire, and the timing on it was hit or miss. It's a challenge trying to get these things to come through in a projected window, in an actual hopes and dreams sort of a fashion. I would be surprised and maybe even a little disappointed if they didn't. I kind of like the whole notion of the occasional 40th anniversary figure. You know, I've got the Fett, you know, I've got the Lando, so the packaging is cool, and I think it's just nice to see them shake it up a little bit and bring something fresh to the table in that regard. Single Songwriter says collect out of love. I don't know any other way to do it. Hugo Ramirez, your opinion about the Sideshow Grievous figure and its issues? I don't have a problem with the Grievous figure. See my photography of it. Go to my Instagram and see what I was able to do with it. I've got the Grievous figure standing on top of a bunch of freaking rubble, not supported, and just holding its own. This is the kind of question that I'll be honest, Hugo. This is the kind of question that I don't like, because it feels like I'm being baited, and I understand. I understand that's probably not your intent, but in the reality of it is that I as somebody who kind of strides the line between the creators and the collectors, I'm in a kind of unique position, and it makes it difficult for me to answer those kind of questions. So I kind of ask that people be sensitive to that when they decide what questions to ask. So just think before you ask. If I answer that question, how's that going to affect me? So just be careful. Your opinion about the Sideshow Grievous issue? I just did that. What do you miss the most about living in Cali? The cycling and the motorcycling and the beaches and the weather I miss everything about living in Cali. I hope I get to go back someday. I've got my eye on the market, the housing market there. I've obviously, because I have a house there for now. I've also, I also have my eye on the climate, the environment, and the increased heat. But at the same time, I was just looking at the weather in Ventura today and saw that the high is going to be 68 degrees, if that. So it appears that the beaches are going to be okay for the time being. Black Krrsantan would be cool. Yes, it would. I would jump on a Black Krrsantan. Oh, what's that? Somebody made a joke, like kind of sexualized Black Krrsantan, and in a really, really funny way. Or maybe it was a Wookiee. That's going to come back to me. I'll remember that. Luke in all black with Grogu on his back from Book of Boba would be historic. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. I have a hard time believing that won't happen. That just seems like too obvious of an idea. Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. I would love to see a season 2 of Obi-Wan and see Krrsantan versus Obi-Wan. Yeah, Mike. Although it looks like, I don't know, it looks like one of the things that they're doing with the Book of Boba Fett is taking these bad guys and making them, they're actually going past morally ambiguous and right into good guys. Right? I mean, it's like Boba Fett had this awakening. All that stuff that went down that he did for the people that he worked for over the years weighed on him a bit. Yeah. Yeah, he's the son of a bounty hunter, sure. Son of a bounty hunter and his dad died working for a client. What's the name that he called them when he told Krrsantan not to work for don't work for slug holes or something like that? So he already had a bad taste in his mouth about the potential for a bad end working for people like Count Dooku or for Jabba the Hutt. And then at the same time he spent his entire life working for people like that, up to the point that he got Han Solo, turned him over to Jabba the Hutt, then wound up getting thrown into the Sarlacc pit by a blind Han Solo. Ignominious end. I keep thinking of Paul Sun-Hyun Lee and his ongoing joke concerning Boba Fett and his little Boba on his show. If you guys aren't watching Paul Sun-Hyun Lee's channel, Bitteration Dude Incorporated, you should be. It's a lot of fun. But then that happened to him, and he got thrown into the Sarlacc pit, and he wakes up, and his armor's just roasted, and he's struggling to survive. He escapes the Sarlacc, gets out, has all of his armor stolen from him by Jawas, and gets taken in as a slave by a bunch of Tuskens, who then find value in him, teach him all their ways, teach him how to fight in a completely different style, and accept him as one of their own, and making him part of a tribe. And that finally belonging to something was huge for him, and it really affected him, and it was cathartic in a way that made him want to change his ways. So yeah, I forgot the point of this question. Oh, Krrsantan. Yeah, he's no longer really a bad guy, is he? The same kind of a similar thing happened to him. He had a bad day or two working for a couple of Hutts, and Boba Fett became like his sponsor, like Bounty Hunters Anonymous. Took him under his wing, and he's doing that with so many other people. He did it with those ill-fated Gamorreans. He's done it with what's her name? Why can't I remember her name? I can't even remember her real name. Clearly I need more coffee. Anyway, but I spent enough time on this question. I think I've answered it. It would be cool. Well, it would be cool to see Kenobi versus Krrsantan. I don't know that it would happen because Krrsantan's on the side of the Angels now, more or less. I think you did a Vader Tarkin 2. TK421 Collectibles. Yes, I did do a Vader Tarkin How to Be a Poser. That's right. That's right. That's going way back, man. That is a deep dive. Doc Smizzle. It's a very obscure movie on Paramount Plus. Pretty fun. Oh, it was in reference to your comment of if a world collective of collectors decided to stop pre-ordering to help reduce an edition size. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm going to go back in these comments and find that later because I want to explore that a little bit. I kind of like that idea. More anti-heroes, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. Big fan of anti-heroes. Hashtag Deadpool. Actually, here's full disclosure. I'm not that big of a Deadpool fan. I'm aware of him. I appreciate him, but I've never collected his comic book. I've only seen his movies. I mean, I've got the first appearance around here somewhere from when I read X-Force, but... Have a good day, Terry in chat. Hello, Harold. You're taking off. Oh my God, it's 10:15. This has gone 15 minutes over already. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and I'm going to go ahead and try to be productive. And by that, I mean I'm going to take my dogs outside so they don't pee on my rug. It's a cool rug. Ties the room together. Brendan Riley, I'm very much looking forward to the first fully original and absolutely villainous character created in this era, not tied to any previous Star Wars stories, a new icon in the making. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have thoughts on that. Maybe ask me about that next week, because I think if I started talking about that, I would go on for another 15 minutes, and I just want to get his... By the way, thank you, Wade Wilson. Fennec Shand was the other character that obviously Boba Fett took under his wing, and it was fun. So technically, Boba Fett is currently the Sheriff of Mos Espa on Tatooine, to be continued. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, sort of. I think also that sheriff is... sheriffs in the United States have an amazing amount of power. And since the U.S. sheriff model is what's been used for the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, yeah, I think that that's probably fair. I don't want to get too much into it. There was actually a great episode of not Jon Stewart, John Oliver, the John Oliver show, where he talks about the sheriffs in the United States and how much power that they actually have, and it's actually kind of scary how much power that is given to this law enforcement officer that doesn't even necessarily have to be a law enforcement officer. Anybody can run for sheriff, and that alone is kind of frightening. Wow, Terry, thank you for summarizing Boba's journey from Bounty Hunter episode Empire Strikes Back to Protector, the Book of Boba Fett. I have never put my head around it. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I hope that there are some good thoughts there. I like to think that I have good thoughts about things on occasion. But yeah, I feel pretty good about that synopsis of Boba's journey, and I think that some people probably missed that because I don't think they were on the nose about it a lot. But I think it's a fair assessment. All those things that happen from, not just from Empire Strikes Back to now, but also from the Clone Wars all the way through, well, Attack of the Clones, through his appearances in the Clone Wars. When you take all of those appearances into account and weigh them with what happened in the Book of Boba Fett, then it all starts to make more sense. Sorry, Wade. As soon as I saw your comment, I immediately kind of regretted saying that I'm not a Deadpool fan. Again, I admire Deadpool. I understand his value. I think he's hilarious in the films, but it's just not something that I chose to focus on. I do not know how to pronounce this name. Thibaut Van de Voorde. Hey, Terry, I saw your review of the Boba Fett premium statue by Sideshow. How do you feel it squares up to the Boba Fett quarter-scale figure by Hot Toys? I did a review of the Boba Fett premium format figure? Oh, I wonder if you mean the Jango Fett. Because I did do a review of that statue back in the day, and I think it's no longer in my collection. It's selling for a hell of a lot. So I have a rule. If something's selling for more than twice what I paid for it, then I have to get rid of it. The thing about selling figures, and this is true, anything that you sell, you can always get back. Just the way that the market works. Some of them are priced beyond belief, but, whatever. Mr. Imagination, keep in mind, Terry, Krrsantan is very different at the time of Kenobi than the Book of Boba. I hadn't thought of that. Thank you. That's 100% accurate. I'm kind of embarrassed by the fact that I did that. Everything is just kind of happening at the same time in my head right now, but you're totally right. You're totally right. And Boba Fett is completely different in the time of Kenobi too. So we could feasibly even see a square off of the 2 of them with Kenobi. Wow, that would be fun. Brendan Riley, the battle damage Fett from the 2-pack is honestly my favorite Fett figure. The texture and grit and detail is just so breathtaking. Isn't it though? Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's up there. I have 2 DTOFs here, as I said earlier on in the live stream, and of course 4 shelves per DTOF. But because of the placement of statues on my desk, I can really only see the top 2 shelves when I'm sitting at my desk, unless I do this. Then I can see it all. But when I'm sitting right here talking to you, I can only see what's up top. And right now, the only things... So I'm very careful about what I place there. And right now, the Boba Fett Deluxe series, Deluxe figure is up there on the top. So, take a couple more questions here, and then I'm going to have to call it a day, everyone. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope to come back and do it, hopefully with a better thumbnail. Love to see a Hot Toys Rancor. Yeah! Insane One says he would love to see a Hot Toys Rancor. The size of that thing. The size of it would be enormous. Because of that, I can't believe it'll happen. Because not enough people would be able to buy it and put it on a shelf. I keep thinking of things like, I've still got it over. It still hasn't left my living room. The Razor Crest by HasLab. It's still sitting in its box in my living room unopened, because as soon as it showed up and I saw the size of the box, I was like, I'm not going to be able to put that anywhere. So it's just sitting there. And the same thing would happen with me for a Rancor. So if we got even if they put out a Rancor, I wouldn't get it. I didn't get the Sideshow version, and that's almost big enough to be a standalone 6 scale. I think it's, what did we decide it was? Like 7 scale or 8 scale? Something like that. It's close. It's close. It was freaking huge. But too big. Bigger than my Thanos on Throne, which is, that's the limit, man. That is absolutely the limit. Oh, did I have anything else here that I wanted to talk about today? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much the end of it. So it seems like a single songwriter's calling it Headwatch or Threadwatch. I thought about having a contest, a Name That Livestream contest. We'll see if I keep doing it. But there's enough interest here. 28. I think we peaked at 28 or 30 viewers, and the questions have been interesting. And it's been fun to talk about this stuff. We'll have to see how long this can go before it starts to become redundant. But as long as people think that it's valuable, and as long as it remains fun, then I'll keep coming back here on Saturday mornings and letting my hair dry, which it is. It's dry now. It's kind of fun because if you actually go back now and watch the video, then fast forward, you can just see my hair dry in like 5 seconds. Anyway, if you were looking for something to do, if you were that bored. Doc Smizzle says, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks everybody for chiming in. This is a lot of fun for me. I don't have a lot of collector friends in the area, so this is legitimately this is a good outlet for me to actually talk about things. I'll leave you guys with this. I am working with collectibles, and as I was saying and I'm trying to remember who it was that asked the question about Hugo Ramirez, I think it was, who asked about the, or I could be wrong. Somebody asked me about General Grievous, and I hope I wasn't being unkind when I put it the way that I do, but I really do need to be careful about things that I say on this, because I straddle that line. You know, I work for the company that distributes these things, but at the same time, I'm an avid collector. So I have to just be careful about what I say. But the thing of it is that I work so much making videos for 6 scale that sometimes the fun is lost. And while I'm very lucky to be doing what I'm doing, it is work. And one thing anybody who works in their hobby will tell you is that when your hobby becomes your job, then it stops being fun. And that happened to me for a couple of different reasons over the course of the past year, and I've been trying to find avenues to bring back the joy, and it's working. And this is one of those avenues. So anybody who joins me here, I genuinely appreciate it, because I walk away from these live streams feeling recharged and for everybody. Thanks, Hugo. That's cool. And again, solid question. I get it. There's just certain things I have to be careful about what I say. And in all honesty, I do enjoy my General Grievous figure. It's one of my favorites. It has a very special place in my heart because it was the first figure that I photographed for Sideshow. And again, I've always been able to make it work. I feel like it's kind of like with the Stormtroopers, the First Order Stormtroopers. My first experience with it, the First Order Stormtrooper by Hot Toys, wasn't that great. But then I wound up doing a video on it years later in which I demonstrate just how posable it is and how much you can do with it. And we've seen other people who've owned this figure, who've done great photography with it, who've hit great poses with it. So it's like I always say about 6-scale collecting. The joy of it is that because we are collectors of posable figures, we get to have the final say in the creative process. Some paintings are more difficult to recreate than others. And the same is true for poses with different figures. It's ultimately every figure is what you make of it. And that's really, I think, the best answer I can give. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. I genuinely do feel recharged when I do this. Also, my voice feels a little bit tired, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a break. Appreciate you all. I'll do this again next week, 9 o'clock. I don't think I have any plans. I think the only exception will be the Saturday of Comic-Con. I won't be doing a live stream the Saturday of Comic-Con. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks, everybody. Jab Plays YT finally joining us. Hello. Yeah, just go watch it in the rerun, man. I'm pretty sure that I've got this set up so that you can watch it afterwards on my channel. So, you can go through. But, yeah, come back 9 o'clock Central Time on Saturdays. Every Saturday, I'll be icing up my knee and letting my hair dry so everybody can come watch my hair dry. And think of some stuff. Think of some names for the channel. So I'm just going to go enjoy the last of my coffee out of my Garfield coffee mug, and then enjoy the rest of my day. You all enjoy the rest of yours. Oh, and don't forget to be good to your plastic. Peace out.